Hello again, my YouTube chess fans. I thought in this video I would do something a little bit different. There's some of you out there who might be curious about the old style chess notation. You know, that pawn to queen's bishop 4 thing, and all that stuff. They don't really use that anymore, but I gotta be honest with you, I was looking through some of my books, and I have several books that look like they're in brand new condition, one of which uh, is in brand new condition. I only bought it a couple of years ago and I put it on my shelf and I barely flipped through the pages. But apparently it was published in the 1960s originally, and it has the old notation in it. So I thought you might be curious. Not that you have to worry about this, because most likely you won't come across it unless you do pick up some old books and see it. You might need to, if maybe you're that interested in learning how to play the game chess, and you find some old books that were more interesting than the newer ones. But here it goes. You know by now the pieces get set up in the fashion that you see them in, the rooks, the knights, etc., etc., etc. So when I move a piece, the way the old notation works is it names the piece, okay? It names the piece first. That is, if I was going to, for example, if I was going to pick up this knight, it would name the piece and who it belongs to. Who, I mean, is it the king's or is it the queen's? So this is the queen's side, this is the king's side. So this is the queen's bishop, the queen's knight, and the queen's rook, and this is the king's bishop, the king's knight, and the king's rook. Sounds familiar already, right? Well, I mean, once they get all over the board, how you know the difference? Well, the simple thing is that it's the side of the board that they're on. Okay? So if I was going to pick up this knight and move it there, I would say king's knight to king's bishop 3. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the difference is that on this old notation, it works the same way for both sides. So you don't have the ranks and files labeled A through H and then 1 through 8. That is the files and the ranks. In other words, if it's black's turn, this is black's king 1, king 2, king 3. So this is king's knight to king's bishop 3. Now, they might shorten that. For example, you couldn't bring the queen's knight to that space right now anyway, so they might just simply say knight to king's bishop 3, because it's understood that you can't move the other knight there anyway. Okay, so for example, if I was going to move a pawn, okay, this is the king's pawn, so it would be, in other words, it's the king's pawn. Pawns can only move straight forward unless they're capturing. So if I was going to move this pawn to the one space, I would simply say pawn to king 3. King 1, king 2, king 3. And since there is no other pawn that could move there, they don't have to say king's pawn. They just simply say pawn to king 3. And if I was going to move this one, for example, I would say to 2 spaces, I would say pawn to king 4. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1, 2, 3. In other words, it's the same for both sides, and it goes on like that. I mean, again, here let's move a couple of pawns out so we can move both bishops. All right, let's just say that I don't take that just for the sake of argument, but okay, whatever. In other words, I was going to move this bishop. If I was going to move this bishop here, I would say bishop to king 2. If I was going to move it here, it would be bishop to queen 3. And since I can't move this bishop to those places that I just mentioned, it's likely that they're not going to say the full length king's bishop to queen 3, stuff like that, because it's not possible for that other piece to move there. But just for the sake of argument, if I was going to move it here, it's king's bishop to queen's bishop 4. But more than likely they'll say bishop to queen's bishop 4. So in other words, I can cut out the king's bishop thing because I'm mentioning the queen's bishop as a second note. Okay, so I'm going to move it here, and I'm going to say king's bishop to queen's knight 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, check. So king's bishop to queen's knight 5, check. Or bishop to queen's knight 5, check, as a short form. Okay? Because this is in check right now. So that's how the old notation works, and it's really a matter of knowing simply that the pieces get set up this way, and once you put, once you drill it into your head, not ever forgetting that the knights go here and the bishops go here, etc., you automatically know what they're saying when they tell you to move a piece to the queen's bishop 3 or whatever, or that long way of saying things. One of the reasons why they had finally changed that, for example, in world games and tournaments and stuff like that, it was very difficult to jot down all the moves, and they finally went to the rank and file format, making it a lot easier, a lot shorter to write down the moves. In any case, my last move for now, just to talk about it, is going to be pawn to queen's bishop 3. And with that, I'm going to end this, and I just want to add a personal note. It helps me to make videos that you would like to see if you comment, if you click like, if you like them. I'm starting to run out of things to tell you about. This little old-fashioned notation was a last-minute thought that I came up with. But if I had your ideas, if you told me in a video, or rather if you commented on one of my videos, I could take criticism. If you want to criticize it, if you want to tell me that this sounds silly, or whatever it is that you want to say about my video. If you like it, tell me what tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you would like to see more of. Yes, that is my clock chiming to 12. I'll wait. Well, yes, now you've all busted me making this video at midnight. In any case, yes, click like if you like, make comments, tell me what you didn't like, bust me for the mistakes I made. I'm going to tell you something. I haven't been able to really use the video editor from YouTube, so these videos come to you raw, and there are mistakes in them. Things I've said that I shouldn't have said. For example, I made mistakes in what I was telling you, what I was moving. I know that in the last video I did, I was talking about moving the white king, and I'm sitting there pointing to the black king. So, point out those mistakes. Don't be afraid to make a fool of me. But mostly I like to know what you like, what you don't like. I would like to know what you would like to see more of. Do you have questions? Do you want me to talk about games played? Do you want me to show you some Grandmasters games? Do you want me to show you Kasparov's game against Deep Blue back in the 1990s? Anything like that. Comment, subscribe to my channel if you could, please. Like or even dislike any of my videos. I'd rather you didn't, because it's kind of a bad name kind of given thing on YouTube, but I'm encouraging you to give me some feedback, because without the feedback, I am running out of things to figure out what it is that you might like. Thank you very much for watching this one. And let me see. Bishop retreats, say bishop to queen's rook 4. Thank you, and bye for now.